Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yeah. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they ride. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Put the gun
I
down.
saw you with the box. What was in the box?
Because I envy your normal life.
Put the gun down, David.
It seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box?
Not till you give me the
What's
gun.
All right, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of our True Crime Podcast. First one that we're putting up, hopefully the first of many. Introducing myself, I'm the Dummel whose door is always open. Gandalf without the gray or the white because I'm all black. Jory LaForge captaining this Enterprises and the People's Podcaster. I am Left Eye E.G.O. Tonight we've got the main man, the Renaissance man, dOGulas. Sir, how are we doing this evening?
Tired.
Bro,
Tired.
Understandably, dude.
Tired
And
of
you got
life.
the-
Tired of life. Yeah.
And you got
You
the
gotta,
owl on there too, man.
You gotta work on that intro. I think I'm in your intro video for like a second and a half.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah.
I need to edit that to give you some more FaceTime, bro. I mean, next to
You gotta have as much as Landon at least.
you know what? I knew you were gonna do that. I knew you were gonna say that. You're right.
But
You're right. I have to give you some more face. I have to re-edit so that it fits. Okay. I will. I have to make some changes then. You're right, man. But yes, I understand. I am tired too, and plus you got the hour ahead of me right now, so I know it's definitely kicking ass too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that someone actually asked in the chat when I was putting this on Twitter about us doing a true crime podcast based in Philly. They were like, "Yo, are y'all Pats or Geno's guys?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, I mean, I said, I was like Delisandro's, Cleaver's, and then Max's. Like, what was your order of cheesesteaks then? Because I was like, I couldn't do Pats or Geno's.
Did you ever try? Them? Did you ever get around to it?
I did. It was just that I think Geno's just grabbed a sandwich off of that like red heater and just gave it to me, and I'm like, "Yo," I was like, I definitely asked with ketchup and I know y'all look at me funny when I say ketchup and tomatoes. All right, but whatever. Like I know. I always get that look. I know. Yeah, everyone does that. Even my wife does that, right? But I'm like, it was pretty specific. He just grabs it off of the here, just gives it to, and I'm like, oh no, you didn't even make this for how long ago? No. Okay, that's it.
Yeah. It's look. Anybody listening right now that's never been to Philly or you heard about Pats and Geno's, it's a tourist trap. Okay,
it is.
It's complete bullshit. It's like
it's not worth it.
They are places that have cheesesteaks. They are not the epitome of cheesesteaks. They are not what everyone considers cheesesteaks. It's all just marketing bullshit. That being said, I do like Pat's. I think Pat's is decent. I can get down with Pat's. Geno's is garbage. And I hope no one tries to kill me saying that anybody listening in the area. But
that's fair.
I think it's all like just gristly, gristled up steakums, basically.
It is.
In my opinion. Yeah. No, guys. Max is the best. Max is up at Broad and Erie is the best for the ratio of quality and quantity. You get a big ass sandwich.
Yeah. Huge.
There. Delisandro's.
I think so, and they're open till like 2 a.m. right?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Easy.
Yeah. I mean, some dude will come up to you and try to sell you loose cigarettes or perf or cologne in line. That will happen. It happened to me. I think a couple of times. A couple of times to me and Dom at least. We were hit up by the Lucy salesman. But it's totally worth it. And honestly, it's just like you just gotta like look around, like what.
True.
There's best for you. Like Jim's on South Street was good before it caught fire, and it'll come back eventually. But everybody all had different favorites, so that's just find your own favorite. But Pat's, like, go to Pat's and Geno's if you love it. That's great if you want to consider it. But like even everybody in Philly is just like, there's
That's that's why I had to ask. Yeah, honestly, dude, when you come out to visit, there's a spot out here called Use Guys, like maybe 10 minutes away from here. The people are from South Philly, and it actually is the best that I've tasted out here. It's either that or Texadelphia is the second one. I haven't tried it, but next time when you come out to visit, Use Guys has got to be the one that you want. But anyway, sorry guys, that's us going off on the chat. I Jesus Christ, man, I miss cheesesteaks, bro. Real ones. I need to go back to Use Guys because I haven't had one in months. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, all right, guys. In the area, then they know. So
we'll do. All right, so we got just a chat that's here tonight. Janet Katana says, "Hey friends, my wife said that I'm not allowed to paint her toenails because of my depth perception, and she doesn't want to look like a Jackson Pollock painting either." We got Kanoi Sasquatch. Good day, sir. And Nosferatu. Good day, sir. And also says Douglas Rose. What are his thoughts on this year's WrestleMania? Oh yeah, go ahead, sir.
Oh yeah, we got to do an episode about it. I mean, it's too late to do it now. It's coming up this weekend. We got to do it after the fact roll up. I'm actually excited. This is the first WrestleMania in many years where I'm not like, you hope it's usually it's like, oh, I hope it's good or I hope it's gonna be. This one it's like, oh, this is gonna be great. Like both nights look awesome. The matches all look good. They all make sense. The Bloodline storyline and the Dominic and Ray storyline is almost as good as the whole Bloodline.
Interesting.
Less attention and it's almost like even better. It's just like actual emotion. They might even do storyline at the Hall of Fame this year because of that. There's just because Ray's going in. It's a little funny that Ray's going in while he's still actively on the roster. They don't usually do that. Like The Rock isn't even. You know, The Rock isn't even in the Hall of Fame yet.
Bro, I think they're just gonna make that a whole weekend for him. I think it'd be the one day that it's just one person.
Stone Cold is in the Hall of Fame already, but The Rock is not yet. But Ray's going in. Ray, who's on TV every week right now. Something's funny there.
Do you think they're going to wait?
I mean, it's going to be.
Go ahead.
No, I think it's going to be awesome. Like the quality of the matches, the storylines, just everything. people are making the thing like, oh, Vince is back now. You can tell little things here and there where he's like taking. You can say, and even if he is, whatever, like Triple H has still got everything under control enough that it's going to be like. I think it's going to be one of the best WrestleManias of all time, and I don't
Really?
Oh yeah, I would actually. I mean, look, anything can happen, but I
Right.
really think it's gonna. We're gonna walk away from this one going like, damn, that was 2 nights of a damn. That was a damn. They haven't had a bad pay-per-view since Vince left. It's been, to quote a certain team on SmackDown, it's been banger after banger after banger, and it's starting to give AEW like not a run for its money, but like even hardcore fans like me are looking at AEW by going like, yeah, you have good matches, but I don't know, the
Not like
WWE's got
that.
like storylines again that people care about. So
Okay. When is dude? I forgot when's WrestleMania this year?
next weekend,
Oh shit!
this coming weekend,
Wait, really?
yeah, Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, because it's into April. I keep forgetting that. I was trying to
Yeah,
figure that out because I was like, it sounded like around Easter, but no, it's into April. Damn, bro, we're gonna have to do then a WrestleMania recap then, because damn, I didn't think about that. Undertaker versus Michaels is still my favorite WrestleMania match.
I have to say it's probably, in my opinion, somebody just asked me this too recently, where it's just like, what do you think is the best one? And like honestly, I think that is the best, quality wise, the best WrestleMania match of all time. That's the one from I think he means WrestleMania 25 in 2009, because there was another one after that where Michaels retired in
Mm-hmm.
2010, WrestleMania 26, which is also really really good. But the one in WrestleMania 25 is the one where I forget who it was. It was me and a couple of people at Cowtown's house, and we were on the floor like pounding the floor, screaming because like the near falls, like he kicked out of something, and like somebody like grabbed my shoulder, was like grabbed. Yeah, you weren't out there yet. You weren't there yet. Like we were screaming on the floor like at that match. We couldn't believe how hype it was. So.
Dude, I need to. I'm at the 1 year. I'm at the flat for WrestleMania, and I miss that too. Like y'all, the only ones that'll get me to watch it is like, but it's usually WrestleMania that really gets me.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, that's we're gonna have to have a WrestleMania recap. Thanks a lot, Nels, because I definitely was forgetting about it.
Oh yeah,
All
I
right,
was,
so
I was going to bring it up too. So thanks, Mouse.
yeah, I've definitely forgot. I gotta check the forums on this as well. All right, so guys, so the first story that we're actually going to be doing for the True Crime podcast is actually one that's going to be, when it's fairly local to Philadelphia, and I remember that
one of my shirts says "We're death in it." Death in it.
we're being on the
That's
nose.
I love when it says, "Oh yeah, do you like EDM?" Yeah, I love EDM electronic. I bought it.
Damn, that's damn, it's even
Yeah.
better, bro. Even
EDM.
better.
Yep.
See,
Well, you know what? And I actually want to make a little disclaimer too for anybody watching this. When you think this isn't like, there's certain kinds of true crime. This isn't what's called murder porn. Some people where they just want to. This isn't like about episodes of Dateline where they just, this person died and this person died and this person was raped and beaten and this person was raped. Like, no, like this is true crime based on like my favorite ones, which is cold cases, like an element of mystery to it and trying to figure out what happened as opposed to just hearing about who was killed. I mean, I have like one true podcast I listen to where it's just like crazy crimes and like and stuff like that. But I think when some people hear true crime, they think it's just that as like murder porn. Like, no, it can be wrapped up with, we're talking unsolved mysteries here, like that kind of true crime.
I appreciate that, because I was like, some of the ones that people watch is like, I can't do with like death, torture, and murder. So I was like, well, hey, I'm just like, hey, they were here, then they were gone, and we may or may not have found them, and like where there's a mystery and there are theories behind that. That's kind of what we wanted to do here. That's kind of what you're going to be getting. Right. So I know that dOGulas got here, like you said, late '98, right, to Philly. You've been here ever since, right?
Fall semester of '98. Yep.
Right, and I was in Philly from 2009 to 21. So technically, I've lived longer in Philly than I have in Texas. So we were choosing one story. We wanted to choose one that was kind of local to Philadelphia. Enter the disappearance of Judy Smith. So to start things off, dOGulas, can you give us the backstory on the disappearance of Judy Smith?
Yeah, so this one, was pretty much a year before I came here, but we wanted to pick something that was Philly centric. So, but it's also, this is one of those early ones that I found out about that I really got into. So basically, how to encapsulate this. Judy Smith.
Don't feel free to give us a long version, man.
Judy Smith is a woman in her 50s. Her and her husband, I forget his name, But they lived in Boston, and he worked for a pharmaceuticals company, and they were having like this big conference here at the convention center, I think it was, when they're in Philly in '97, and so they were going to fly down, and she was going to like see the sights, go sightseeing while he was at the conference through a couple days, and treat it like a little mini trip and what have you. So they came down from Boston, and interestingly, the first sign that like this, what makes this interesting is like when they got to the airport in Boston, she suddenly realized that she had forgotten her ID. She had no ID to show security at all, and so they weren't going to let her in. So she had to go home, and so they say, her husband's like, okay, I guess I'll just take this flight, and you can meet me in Philadelphia. Which he didn't really think, it was reluctant to do it. But it was, he didn't really, nobody really thought it was weird. She was just like, oh, I forgot my ID for whatever reason, and you go fly without me, and I'll take the next flight going down there. And turns out that actually might be a sign of something else as this thing transpired, but maybe not what you're thinking yet. So she does come down. He gets there. She does come down later, however many hours later, in a separate flight, and they're in Philadelphia the night before, and then the next night or the next day, he goes off to the conference. And she basically, he says goodbye to her, and I'll give you the whole thing of what happened, and then we can go back to the details.
Gotcha.
He says goodbye to her. He goes to the conference, and she's going to go sightseeing throughout the day. Conference is over, 5:30. He comes back to the hotel room. She's not there. He walks around to a bunch of places they were going to look at or meet. He can't find her anywhere. He starts to panic. He gets the cops involved. He gets the police. He eventually has to go home for work. He stays in Philadelphia for another couple days while they're trying to figure out where the hell she went. She goes missing. They're trying to figure out where when he has to go back. He goes back to Boston, but he spends all this money on making flyers and like contacting news and media and calls and just trying and work with the police and going back to Philly as much as he could, because he's from Boston, to try and find what happened to his wife, who just like completely went missing and there's no idea. Well, fast forward, that was in April. Fast forward to September of that year, September of 1997, and a father and son that are hiking in the woods in North Carolina, I think it was in the Asheville area of North Carolina, stumble across a skeleton of a woman who had been, they saw the markings on the clothing left that had been stabbed to death and left there for dead in the middle of the woods in North Carolina, and they checked dental records, and it was her. So the big mystery behind Judy Smith is what the hell happened? How did she go missing randomly on a day in Philadelphia, and then end up in the middle of North Carolina, in an area of North Carolina that she didn't know? She had no family, no friends. There was no reason for her at all to be there at all. She was just, it was the most random thing. Like they found her there.
Okay.
And I always say,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
And I always say it's presumed that it's presumed with like 95% or 90% certainty. But remember, a lot of people don't realize is they identified her from the dental record, and also eventually from eyewitnesses that said, oh yeah, that they showed pictures like, oh yeah, that woman, I remember seeing her around. Eyewitness testimony and dental records are never 100% sure. There is always a little. There's always a little bit of grain of doubt. This wasn't a DNA test or anything like that. It was just dental records and eyewitness testimony. So it was probably her, but you can never. Here's the thing about police work and crime. You can't sit there and say with 100% certainty. But it was more than likely her. So that's the big mystery for Judy Smith. What the hell happened to her when she ended up in the middle of an area of North Carolina from Philly? And an area that I know, that's like a 6.5-hour drive, because I've made it before with friends of mine many, many times.
I remember that. Yeah,
you go to the Outer Banks, but like this is this is way more inland. So they go back. They're trying to piece together as they're piecing together what happened. They're able to track her from Philadelphia. From eyewitnesses and I think there was some CCTV footage but this is 1997. There wasn't cameras everywhere like there is now. So she wound up she went to the Greyhound station in Philly. I know that place well. And she was cited a couple places in Jersey, including the Cherry Hill Mall, where a young woman identified her and said, yeah, she was acting really weird. She kept calling me by another name, thinking I was somebody else. And she kept trying to pull me and try to and try to get me to go on a bus trip with her. And I'm like, lady, I don't know who the hell you are. Get away from me. kind of weirdness. And then later on, there was afterwards there was sightings of her in the North Carolina area where they found her, where she was apparently walking around town, openly discussing that she had a husband and a family in Boston, and she just decided to go down there and see what was up. She never told anybody precise reasons as to why she was there or what, but apparently she had told people like, yeah, she was openly talking about it as if it was absolutely and totally normal. And then somehow her skeleton is found in the woods, having clearly been stabbed to death and surrounded by like hiking gear. It looked like she actually was legitimately hiking in the woods.
Wow.
Yeah, when she got stabbed. Some of the details that came out all through the years are that put together that helped my theory out. And I don't know if
I was gonna ask you, like,
Yeah.
since it happened, what were some of the initial theories that were coming out as the reason for just number one, the disappearance, or
Yeah.
how they found, like, was there any identification outside of dental records? What did they actually find, or what were some of the theories that they had?
Usually, and it's the usual stuff for cases like this. Whenever there's when somebody goes missing, they always ask the question like, "Did they leave to start a new life?" Which is
Right.
usually something you hear now, and you're like, your eye roll, like, no, that hardly ever happens. Except it does still happen. The most famous case going around that some people may know about, if they're cold case fanatics as well, or is this guy Robert Hoagland now, who passed away in upstate New York, and his family in Connecticut have been looking for him, wondering where the hell he had gone 9 years ago, and he just up and left. And turns out his wife, wound up releasing information after the fact that he'd done something like that before, and he was kind of like a moody guy, and it makes a little bit more sense. But that was like a big, cold case mystery too. Robert Hoagland, what the hell happened to that guy? So people really do just take off and start new lives. It's just not very common, but that's what they're always going to go to. Like, okay, did she just decide to start a new life somewhere? Well, I mean, that theory was kind of the thing working against that was that people said in North Carolina, they were like, no, she openly said she had a husband in Boston and that she was just in the area herself doing whatever, seeing it or whatever. So it was they couldn't really put anything on that. They wondered if she was abducted. If she was found murdered, was she abducted and pulled away, against her will? Well, again, all the sightings of her all showed her operating by herself. There was never any sighting of her or what they thought of her, like with somebody looking like she was, under duress or like against her will, or anything like that. In Jersey and at the Greyhound station and that. Of course, the big mystery also is like there was no information of her from Cherry Hill Mall, New Jersey, to North Carolina. So that whole span there during when she got down there, because I think the people that said they had in North Carolina that had interacted with her was only like a month or a couple of months prior. So there was a good swath of like May, June, July where they don't know where the hell she was at all.
Wow.
They can't trace her, back. They can't sit there and be like, okay, from here she went to here, from here she went to here. Nope.
Really? I was gonna say I thought it was a cleaner line between like they saw her here and then she showed up here and then she was here from here. Oh, it's just like June.
There are cases like that. There are
Okay.
cases like that, and I'll reference one that kind of like points to my where it's not just my theory anymore because a lot of people have the same theory, but
yeah,
it's just with these cases. Usually, a lot of people want to go for the most sensational kind of thing, and so they think like, "Oh my God, she was abducted and she was forced to go down there, and she was captive, and she was into a trafficked in some way, or did she like say like she didn't care about her family, she just wanted to take off and do some crazy life, like is there evidence when she got to North Carolina, was she all sex, drugs, and rock and roll from there, or does she get married to somebody else or have a new family or something like that? So they're always looking for like the most salacious kind of stuff,
Okay.
So those were the theory, but then another theory that had to come up, but it was just, at the time, again, this was in 1997. The one that wound up gaining traction over the years was it some sort of amnesia situation or what they call a fugue state?
Okay.
And that's where I fell into it right away. Like hearing the story, I'm like, oh, she sounds like a fugue state to me. A fugue state is when basically, if anybody doesn't know what it is, it's basically,
I was about to ask that. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, something happens, usually something stressful or traumatic from what they've seen will happen, and all of a sudden you have amnesia, and everyone that has it says there's a point where they can't But they're like, I remember doing this, and then everything went blank. And then every point after that, they can't remember what they did or who they're with or how they did that or whatever. And the brain just kind of like wipes the slate clean. You don't remember anything, and it operates. I don't want to say instinctually because, as this woman showed, Judy showed, she was talking to people. You know, she was openly discussing and talking to people. But your mind just kind of, a part of your mind just sort of takes over, and your conscious mind is not in the driver's seat anymore. Your conscious mind is the one. You know, it's like subconscious takes over and just operates by itself. And they also call it disassociative state as well, but fugue state's easier to say. So
Okay.
that one started to gain traction. And that's the one I popped on because when I heard this story, this one immediately made me think of another story about a woman named Amber Gerweck. I couldn't remember her name. I'm not going to say I'm that much of a Rolodex, but like there's a great show called Disappeared, which if anybody likes cold cases, watch it. Or if you like missing persons cases, watch that show.
Okay.
Like there's like 9 seasons on Hulu.
Wow.
And I think Sling and maybe some other place like that. Like watch it. It's a lot of they pick the best cases of disappeared people where you're like, what the hell happened?
Is it dramatized or like documentary style?
It's documentary style. Yeah, there's some dramatized, but it's like blurry. It's like to your point, I hate the ones where they get like actors to sit there and like, you know, give them dialogue and try to become this person. No, it's all documentary style. Shot really interestingly, but even better is they pick that show in particular, pick like the best cases. Like every episode is like, oh wow, that's funky. How the hell did that happen? You know,
check that out.
Something.
Okay.
They didn't do an episode on her for whatever reason, but they did an episode on Amber Gerweck. And Amber Gerweck was another, certainly saying like hamburger. Amber Gerweck.
I thought that's what you said at first. I was like, man, that's an interesting name.
She's a case of, she literally was a divorced woman living in Michigan, and she was studying and going to school for, I forget, for something for her job. She went to the convenience store to go. I remember in the episode she says salad dressing. She needed some more salad dressing and a couple other things from the convenience store. And while she says she remembers going to the store, she remembers looking on the shelves and everything and shopping, and then everything goes black and she has no idea. But they find her later, like months later, in a suburb of Chicago. And this is after they found her car in Georgia.
Jesus.
She lived in Michigan. She abandoned her car in Georgia. They find her. They eventually find her wandering in a park in the suburb of Chicago. That one, like you were saying earlier, that one did have a line where they found things. Unlike Judy Smith. But I immediately thought this sounds like Amber because
something like that.
That's the moment where they basically they confirmed as much as they could, because it is possible to fake this stuff. They basically confirmed that Amber her mind went into a fugue state, and her conscious mind was not in control of what she was doing, but she was. If you had met her and talked to her, you would never know. You would think everything's totally normal.
I was just trying to figure out. I was like, was she even going by Judy if she was in the fugue state? She was talking to everybody. But did you see what her name was?
Yeah, as far as I know, like some people, if they talk to her, be like, oh yeah, I think they said that's what they just confirmed. They're like, oh yeah, people confirmed it was her. So it could have been just visually, or it could have been like, oh yeah, she said her name was that. I remember her saying her name was Judy. No one said that she was like in a different life, or said that she worked some job that she didn't have, or that she said, oh, I'm from the area. She didn't lie. Or she told people she was from Boston and she was married and had kids that were still up in Boston.
Okay. And no one knew where she was staying that entire time, or just popped up and that was it?
What did you say before that?
So did they actually figure out where she was staying between that time, or she just
Nope. The last sighting was Cherry Hill Mall, and then that's it until they find her bones in the woods. Basically, hikers randomly find her bones in the woods.
Well, I mean, I was trying to figure that, like with decomp, like how long did they say she'd been out there? Did they even figure that part out, or just?
I'm not sure. She disappeared in April of '97, and they found her body in September of '97. So it's not like there was so much time that you could really piece a lot. So she was obviously. You think about like, okay, if she took they don't know. She could have stopped at every state along the way, or she could have took a direct line and been in in Carolina the entire time. They're not sure.
Okay.
The people they talked to said they really only like saw her within like a month prior to that. So there's not really a lot of time. I mean, the reason they found her skeletal remains, I mean, we're not talking like dried bones here, people. Like
Right. Yeah.
we're talking skeletal as in like
Decomped,
animals
yeah.
that scattered and stripped all this flesh
That
out of the
okay.
bones. So we're talking
That wouldn't help either. Okay.
grizzly, gnarly, bloody skeleton, not dried mummified bones or anything like. It wasn't that long.
There you go. That's
Excuse
what I was trying to go with it. Yeah, you're right. Okay,
That's a
I
huge
see what you mean.
Yeah, and so I compared them immediately when I heard it. I was like, okay, this sounds like that Amber Gerweck story where she hit the fugue state, and that explains a lot because we're like, okay, then it really looks like in Judy's case, like in her mind or her whatever was piloting her mind, everything was fine. This was according to plan. Oh, I'm just going to go to North Carolina. I mean, who knows? Her sense of time could have been distorted, and what she felt was a couple of days was a couple of months. But that theory slowly gained traction over time. At first, it was a big, huge mystery, and it's still there is still a mystery behind it. But now, to me, it really looks like that was the case, like her brain entered fugue state. And what I was going to say before that, one of the details when you wind up going back and looking over this that came out after the fact was her friends admitted that her marriage was not really great at the time. They were having problems in their marriage.
Okay.
And so when they kind of made this trip, it's like, well, let's do something fun together. Let's do something romantic together. And the husband had stated that and now you go back and you're like, that's interesting that this happened. And before it happened, she was in the Boston. She couldn't fly. She couldn't take the same flight because she forgot her ID.
Okay.
I'm not saying it means anything necessarily, but it's not like everything was super duper normal leading up to this.
Right.
There was that weird thing that kind of happened. It's like, is that a sign that something was going to happen? But to the greater point, her friends said that their marriage there were problems. There was a lot of stress. They were having more and more fights. And the husband, who has been completely exonerated, there was zero evidence of him ever doing anything wrong at all. Some people are always like, it's the husband. Husband did it. That's it. Or it's the wife. Wife had to do it. That's it. Of course. Well, that is common, but it's not always.
Right.
So what the husband had said is one funny thing he noticed is that the morning when he was getting ready to go to the conference, in that morning she was taking a shower after he had taken a shower to get ready, and she apparently, as he was getting ready after her shower, she like got out of the shower in her towel and was like dancing all around the hotel room, doing something a little out of character. He's like, he said something like, I'd never really seen her like do that and just be all kinds of a little bit wacky like that, but he didn't really think anything of it because it's not like she was spouting gibberish or anything like that. She was just acting a little silly and goofier than she ever really did before. He figured like, okay, well, we're on a trip. Maybe that's why. But you take that little bit of information now after you find out they found her body, and you think, okay, maybe it was a fugue state. And now I'm thinking, stress in the marriage, stress in the relationship might have started to eat away at whatever causes this kind of state. The person I compare her to, Amber Gerweck, her mom, even though she has no memory, her mother states that she thinks something happened to her at that convenience store that really like scared her, like some guy or some person accosted her or something happened that freaked her out, and whatever it is, bam, it just clicked in, and that's when the fugue state took over.
Interesting. Okay, I had not considered that. But yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting story with a cold case there that wound up being solved. But I mean, still, I was very interesting. I hadn't really heard of fugue states. I mean, they always make it to where they've got dissociative identity disorder, or they'll make it so that it was always in the background. But I've never heard of it to just happen like that, and then you're a completely different person. Or the person you claim to be is you, but it's a you you're not going to remember. So
it's you, but it's like it's your the mind that you and I are speaking right now, and anybody listening right now just fades to the background, and something else takes over. It's still you. It's still operating, but it takes over. It's a weird thing and hard to describe. But I think if you think about it, it's just like imagine your conscious and your subconscious, which is still yourself. It's still who you are. Imagine they switch places.
Yeah,
the subconscious takes over and does the driving for a little while.
I could take that.
I was just checking my notes. Like,
that's fine. Go ahead, man.
What I like to do with these kind of cases, though, is like when you get all those details, is like really zero in on some of the details that might. I try to tell myself, like, how would I explain this? What would explain this behavior? What would cause this? And taking every detail and sort of like spread it out and look and be like, what could possibly be a piece? What piece do I have to just kind of turn and be like, oh, it fits now,
Fits.
and put it there, and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, she forgot her ID and she had to take a separate flight. Some people would think, oh, well, she was setting up something. Was she, or was that a slight little tremor before the earthquake? Where she's like, how could you forget your ID where you knew we were going on this trip for however long?
Right.
Was that was that normal?
Deliberate or an accident or a
tiny
fuse? Yeah.
When she got there and she started acting like silly and in a way that he had never really seen before, but didn't think anything of it because she wasn't speaking in tongues and blah, 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 like her eyes didn't roll in the back of her head, and like she went totally crazy and started walking around on, putting shoes on her hands, or like that, like nothing like that. But it was just, I think I looked at it, I was like, this really looks to me like a little tremors before the big one hits, before the big earthquake that shook it up. And also the young woman in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. For anybody who doesn't know, Cherry Hill is like immediately on the other side of the river. And Camden's immediately, but the next one over, we don't go to Camden.
Don't go to Camden, y'all. Please don't.
No,
I don't go to Camden. No, don't do that. No.
Don't even go to Camden, England, for all that matter. I have no idea if it's bad. But just don't take any chances, okay?
Please don't. Yeah.
Please stay safe, everybody. Don't go into a fugue state.
Not in Camden. Jeez, please don't go to Camden.
Yeah, it's the next like town over. But the young woman at the Cherry Hill Mall had said that this woman that she says looked like her was probably her, was kind of being like, hey, come on, let's go, let's get on the bus, let's go. And it's like the people looked into it. By the way, you wind up reading a lot of Reddit threads when you go into like Disappearance.
Yeah, I found that. I got to download the app again because it's just Reddit threads will find out anything for you.
It's good though because you get Reddit threads. You get people that like know the people or live in the same town, or
that's true.
They'll just be like, hey, let me give you a little bit of context in here that you might not know. You have to scroll through a lot of people going, husband did it to get to like the stuff that pertains to it, unless the husband actually did do it. But which happens, they have to go through a lot of stuff like that, but you can get, and it's also because of that. I mean, the new season of Unsolved Mysteries has come under fire for leaving a lot of information out, or like sort of like pushing certain narratives on certain cases that
the newer ones are like the newer ones are the back in the day ones.
The newer ones. The newer ones. I think true fans of the show Unsolved Mystery are kind of like by now disappointed with with the reboot, just because like, I mean, the latest season of it, the first episode, it goes out. It really does feel like it goes out of its way to say something happened a certain way, but then you take like 5 minutes of research online to like just look at it. You're looking, you're like, oh, you left all this stuff out. Why'd you do that? Why are you pushing this one narrative when you're supposed to be like, looking at all possibilities? So so stuff like that.
As an aside, I think Nosferatu was actually asking a question up here. He said, have you watched Mindhunter on Netflix about the creation of the serial killer profiling system used to catch them?
I did. I watched some of it. I didn't watch a lot. Mostly just, it was good. And, I definitely would recommend it, but like, again, like it was cool, but like afterwards I'm like, okay, I'm more interested in the cases themselves and like sitting down and thinking about them and critically thinking and seeing. Not that I'm a master. I don't have a good record. By the way, my prediction for that Robert Hoagland guy was totally fucking wrong, dead wrong. I have a little spreadsheet that I keep for myself, and I was like, well, fuck that one up, didn't I? Like, I had a whole thing where I was like, he might have got taken out by his son. His son was in drugs and he was selling things to the family. And so maybe he, messed up with a dealer and they showed up and abducted him. And no, he was literally a case of somebody who randomly started another life. So yeah, no, I have no credentials in law or anything, definitely not like most people in Philadelphia, a water expert now with this contamination thing going on where everybody.
Y'all got contamination out there, bro? What happened? What's going on?
You know about that?
No, where is it? Let me know. Also,
a chemical processing plant in Bristol, up above Philly. Yeah, there
Yeah.
was a chemical spill in the Delaware River, and it possibly contaminated the water for like most of the city. But there was a bit of a panic with it
Bro.
on Sunday,
Yeah.
and then yesterday was okay. Like they keep telling us, like if the water's safe, they're giving in check-ins like every 5 hours or so like that, and they keep telling us like, oh, the water's actually safe. The water's
What is
still safe. Don't
what's
worry.
everyone saying that lives there though?
I
Like,
just
bro,
can't
I
tell the
live
difference.
near Bristol, man. I was like 5 or 10 minutes away from
Yeah,
where we used to live.
can't tell the difference. Like it was this latex cleaning agent chemical spill, but it's one of those things where like there was no way like a Brita filter isn't gonna stop it if it's a chemical spill, and you don't want to boil water that has a chemical spill in it because you might release vapors. So like
True.
like that would be bad.
Okay.
Um,
Let me know, man, because I was like, it's when you said Bristol, I was like,
Seems
shit.
okay, but like, of course, what happened? Everybody in the city became a water treatment expert. Like now
Okay.
everybody's online is an expert lawyer, an
Yes.
expert, philosopher and humanitarian and whatnot. So yeah, I definitely don't think that like I'm Mindhunter. Come to me like I'm not like some of these people like that get into this stuff will call the police in precincts and be like, I have a theory, like crackpot kind of theory. Like no, for me
Fuck that guy.
it's I do it mostly because it's fun and I find it interesting. But like in this case, when I first heard about it, like I'm not saying I came up with like, oh, I thought it was fugue state before anybody else. Like I totally did not. But not a lot of people were sitting there saying like, oh, hey, look, that could have been, the way she was acting all silly, and not even realize the initial podcast and like articles that I had read about her, and when I first became introduced to this case, they didn't really mention any of the stuff about the strain in their relationship. That their friends had told the police and told people like, yeah, there was a strain in their relationship. That's information I found out that people who knew them, like it eventually leaked out in places online in various comments and in Reddits
Oh.
and stuff. It was vetted. We didn't don't just believe it, out of whole cloth.
Mhm.
Like it was all vetted, but like there's so much stuff that like you watch a show on this and be like, oh yeah, this is clearly what happened. Like now, you watch a show on this, you really got to go and then keep doing research in any way you can. I mean, the podcast for this kind of stuff, for cold case and for mysteries, I mean, they have subscriptions to newspapers from the area where they got to go sift
Good
through
lord.
like newspaper scans from the 80s and 70s and 60s and even
Wow.
further, because there's information there that just you can't be sure has been released online, or that there's always going to be information that in an active investigation that the police are going to hold on to, so that they
Mhm.
know and somebody could implicate themselves
Okay.
by releasing. I
This
mean,
is okay.
so
All right.
there's
Not
always
bad. Thanks.
there's multiple levels. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. Like I said, I enjoy the mystery part of it. I had trouble watching that Mindhunter and what was the other Criminal Minds. Like for me, it's like I didn't care if they were trying to profile the killer. I was like, well, for me, just give me the mystery, and I can try to figure it out myself and piece it together. So yeah, I think we'll more do so more work on mysteries rather than just like cold-blooded murders. I'd like to have a mystery. If it involved murder, fine, but it'd probably be the mystery behind it for me.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
My favorites are disappearances. Like I'm much more interested in people that haven't been found rather than people that have,
right.
or
Okay.
people that like the mystery is how were they murdered. Like I can still be interested, but I'm like as soon as something where it's like something like this where there's this big nebulous gray area that you have
Yeah.
to, that's what I want to dive into and like try to figure out and try to think about it. And not in an egotistical way, I'm going to figure this when nobody else can, but just like
Yes.
it's interesting to. I think the more people, and if you this is, I guess you could even call it like the Reddit effect or something like that. The more people you have working on this, and they have workshops to this. They'll have people, investigative schools will like pick a case.
Really?
And they'll bring. Oh yeah, there's I have to look it up, but there was a case where like they had like a symposium where they had like they invited, like I think they said some crazy number like 90 true crime podcasters and journalists and authors and stuff like that to come together and work on this one cold case, and just like
Yeah.
because somebody's going to see something from a different angle that other people may not see, and then all that stuff comes together and builds out this much, this
I'm surprised no
great
one's in a
case.
documentary on Reddit sleuths Because I remember, like, for some of the crimes that happen or disappearances, they can find someone almost better than the police.
Um, no,
They'll
I
like
mean,
give them
look,
on
that
Reddit.
there was that "Don't fuck with cats" thing on Netflix that I really enjoyed
Yeah.
watching. That
Oh,
that
that was
that
that.
highlighted,
Okay.
that highlighted Facebook groups of people. If there isn't one already, they could find a case where it's just like, oh my god, there was a whole big like thing full of redditors that like came out and worked on something and found something. So I think the more eyeballs and more brains you have like working on any one of these cases at the same time, it's gonna flesh out a whole story much better than just one small team, one cop or one investigator or one small team of investigators working on it. Will.
Fair. Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna wind up doing this. Try to do this once a month. Find a case either current or past or even present if it's
Oh,
really
there's a
pressing,
lot.
and just kind of dig into that. I know that's why we're just gonna do it once a month because I swear it could build up and be a big thing. So, guys, we're open to suggestion. We'll try to figure out one that's gonna be more of mystery and disappearance related. But yeah, that's pretty much what we'll focus on. Try to do it again once a month. But yeah, we'll try to keep it to maybe an hour if it really gets really interesting, maybe an hour and a half. But just something that you can put on and listen to while you're driving in the car the next day or listening live with us. But for now, Douglas, you got anything coming up with your band UCNX or anything you're working on in the meantime? Or
Just everything's just slowly still coming together, getting back into the groove of working on stuff. I'm also having more. I admit I'm having more fun like working on not my own stuff, but like doing like DJ remixes of other songs. Like
oh, nice.
you know, when you know how to do like production stuff, you wind up hearing things like where you're like, man, I really wish this song would be great if they only. Well, why don't I just do it? And you wind up doing. So I'll do like a DJ mix of like something, or like what I'm working on now is from a live album that's better than that I hear that sounds totally different than the original album cut of the track.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I could just chop up this live performance and put other stuff underneath it to make it flesh it out a little bit more, and turn it into what I would call a DJ mix. Just your to spin other places and just outside of the format and just kind of beef it up. And it's really fun because then you wind up working on music that you like. It's even that's not your own, but that other people's music that you like. So, but yeah, stuff is coming together. There'll be some releases on our Bandcamp coming out.
Oh, you got Bandcamp. Nice, dude. Yeah, let me know when those drop. I'll get downloads too. I gotta download Bandcamp again. That's the other thing is me and my wife, we switched phones and now half my shit I'm finding out isn't on there. I gotta go back and I don't remember that I didn't download it. So I gotta download Bandcamp and put you guys on there.
If it makes it, if it's all the difference to people, I know nobody wants to buy music and everybody wants to. It's just they're entitled to this weird thing of like everybody's entitled to have it, but then musicians should not just be in it for the money. I can see both sides. I can tell you as a person, we've been on Bandcamp since when it first came out, like was it 2012 or something like that? Even before that, I can tell you that Bandcamp money goes to the artist. It absolutely they take a very small cut to themselves, and the money goes straight to my PayPal account. And then I disseminate it to everybody else, or use it.
Downloading now.
Yeah,
there we go. Downloading.
That might be the difference for a lot of people. Like I understand. You don't want to give money to record companies, and oh my god, this Ticketmaster Live Nation debacle that's going on and shit like that for live shows. And artists and bands they make their money on physical media, like shirts and clothing and weird little mouse pads if they make it, or CDs, which I know nobody wants to buy those, but
yeah,
I know, but the money does go to the band. But I can tell you right now, of all the services like iTunes, Apple's getting that money. Bandcamp, the artist, whoever, the DJ, they're getting the money.
They get it.
The mass majority of it.
Bandcamp, there it is. Okay, all right. Also, last thing, dude. You got any RPS tournaments coming up? Rock, paper, scissors, guys, is awesome.
We just had one last night, which is one of the reasons.
Nice. Oh, that's why you up late. Oh, you should have said that. Okay.
Yeah.
Say less.
I won streak though.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I lost I wanted to kill the ref Andre. He put me in a preliminary bout because we had too many people, so he had
Andre. That's Andre, though, man.
Yeah. I thought he was just like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I understand wanting new people to play, but there's only like 3 hardcores here. Why are you You know what though? But I made it my mission to then I was going to win street, and I was going to win, just hustle all that fake money from people, and we did. And I was eventually playing stack for stack and on a winning streak, and I got the joy of like being bounced out of the tournament in the preliminary bout. But then at the end, when everybody's turning in little like stacks of money like that, I pull out this fucking roll like that big, and I was just like, "Here you go!" And all like the new people at the bar were like, "What the?" So
Guys, if you're ever in Philly and you get a chance to go to rock paper scissors tournament, it's awesome. I didn't even know the thing was real, and when I hung out with the first time I think dOGulas and I had hung out together was at an
it
RPS
was that
tournament.
one of them, yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was like the first time I think I was really hungover and still went to class the next day
Yeah,
because
probably.
it was a lot of fun.
Those
I
damn
wasn't expecting
specials
it to
get
be that fun.
it's the damn specials to get the street bucks. It kills you.
Yeah, so basically you pay for like street bucks that'll have like it'll be like a bill that'll be like, hey, it's RPS dollars. And basically you trade you trade in the dollars for drinks. And usually the ratio of dollars to drinks is pretty low. So it's like, oh hey, only the 3 of the street bucks gets you like 1 Pabst Blue Ribbon. And then
No,
that
no,
one
what, you got to reverse. You have to
How is it?
you buy the drink special to get the fake money to play with.
So
Yeah, you got to revert. You got to.
then that's how I want him
You
getting
got everybody.
hungover. That's what happened.
We'll fix it in
Yeah,
post. We'll fix it in post.
that's
It's fine.
that's very
It's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, guys, if you ever find an RPS tournament, those are actually fun. So like, just type in
Everybody,
RPS
yeah, we
tournaments
went to a
where
new
you are.
place in Fishtown called the Monkey Club that I had never been at, and everybody
nice.
says, "What the hell is this?" And by the end, they were screaming and cheering and everything like that. And it's just simple shit that you did as a child. That's we play it how you play it as a child. 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3 times. Like everyone did it as a kid. It's really not hard.
You have an official to call it. You know, best 2 out of 3. You know, it's set up an official. There's a tournament. You know, sometimes there's a winner at the end for the tournament
Last night
that you have. So
winner,
yeah, it's actually a lot of fun.
And right now, because there's no the league aspect of it is done now, it's like the winner of the tournament gets money, and the winner of street gets a gift card to the bar. So
nice. I'll take that.
Why not?
All right. Well, hey guys, that's pretty much what we've got for you tonight. We'll try to come back next month with another mystery and cold case for the True Crime Podcast. But for now,
suggestions. Give us suggestions. I'd love.
Yes, please send us suggestions. Left Eye E.G.O.
Through ones and pick one that that people like are interested in.
Yeah, I'll have to. I'm left. Mine's at lefteyego@yahoo.com. You can hit dOGulas up on his socials. What do you got for through Instagram? What is yours again?
Ultimate _ WOYAH.
Yes, please send us, DM us, or email us any good ones that you want to check out. But for now, this is E.G.O and dOGulas out.